Hi everybody, Zach here for another episode of our flagship program, The Spideydude Experience. This episode is brought to you by our loyal patrons over at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. Pledge today and get both early access to content on the main channel, as well as entirely exclusive content, like brand new shows, commentaries for old Spidey stuff, including commentaries for the MTV series, for example, as well as the video editions for Voices from the Eyrie Gargoyles Podcast. And our Patreon first show focused on the Krakoan era of X-Men. We also want to encourage you to check out our other programs that are all available on Audio Edition. These are all over on Spideydude.com, and they're available on your favorite podcasting app. Shows like Clone Saga Chronicles, the show that started this entire network, Spectacular Radio, Spectacular Sal Buscema era podcast, Amazing Spider-Man Classics, the Slot Symposium, and the sister program on this channel, Make Mine Mayday. As always, be sure to hit the like button. It really does help us big time in the algorithm. And additionally, if you have topics you'd like to cover on a live show or in a recorded medium, make sure to leave a comment down below the description or shoot us an email at SpideyDudeRadioNetwork@gmail.com. Finally, make sure to join our community. Be alerted to all new updates by hitting that subscribe button and clicking on the bell. But to be clear, your viewership is more than enough for us. And if you want to hang out with us off YouTube, you can always go to our Discord, where we have all sorts of fun stuff, or you can join us on our social medias and follow us there. All the links are down in the description below. As always, we want to be making some references to visual aids and or live comments. If you're an audio listener, pay that no mind, but leave that 5-star review for us. Any and all feedback we will read on future episodes. Thank you, and without further ado, let's get rolling with this episode of the Spideydude Experience.
Well, Zach's just not paying attention. Oh, okay.
We were clicking at the same time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Spideydude Experience. I am Zach Joyner, joined by Mr. Neil Bogenrieder, as always. We are going to be talking about Ultimate Spider-Man issue 10, and as well as a little bit of NYCC coverage. If some of it this week, some of it probably into next week. We'll talk about the ASM stuff, I think, next week more when we do the ASM show, which will be the season finale of the of this season 4 Wells Spideydude Experience. So, without further ado, let me bring in the other two guests of the show, or members of the panel. I can't talk tonight. We got Adam and Ashley. Hello.
Guest number 1 and guest number 2.
Yes. Number 2. I'm number 2, apparently.
You got like a
Adam's the number 1.
It doesn't matter which
Shockwave from Transformers. Female.
Token female. Well, everybody, hello, welcome. This, of course, is talking about Ultimate Spider-Man. Now, I need to double check with Javi because he never sent me a video file.
Okay, anyways, let's talk about things that happened at Comic-Con. Things happened. Let's talk about them. Yay. So back at San Diego, the Ultimate panel said, hey, there's going to be one more Ultimate title on the way. We kind of all had different speculations. I think I'm the one who actually cared about what was happening. But they just announced that the new title is Ultimate Wolverine. It's going to be written by Chris Condon, Zach? Or Corden?
Yeah, Condon, I think.
Condon, who is most well known for the comic series That Texas Blood. And on art will be Alessandro Capuccio, who is the main artist for Jed MacKay's Moon Knight series, which means he will be leaving Moon Knight, and I'll probably not be reading the book anymore because he was 1/2 of like 2/3.
Yeah, so I'm pulling up
that math doesn't work.
1/2 of 2/3.
Hang on, sorry. Okay, actually, I had to do a lot of math at work today. I'm out of like energy.
I'm also
My
very
batteries.
blonde, so I probably would have just rolled with it anyways and been like, yeah, that sounds right.
A third.
So,
But basically,
1 of 3.
the announcement is basically like, okay, so if you remember in the Free Comic Day issue, Wolverine's corpse was on display at Damage Control, or at least his skeleton was. And the idea is that the Rasputins, aka Magic and Colossus and Omega Red, are basically going to be resurrecting him as the Winter Soldier. He is basically their muzzled attack dog.
Yep. This was announced at the Next Big Thing panel in New York Comic Con last weekend.
And that's all I got. That's
yeah, the cover, you've got the character design cover, with the Winter's Sebastian Stan mask on.
What I think I think that's a muzzle, because like if you look at Wolverine, he looks sickly and like half dead. I think they kind of Frankenstein him back together, and he came back wrong, and he's just like a feral little monster, and they had to muzzle him so he doesn't bite people and give them rabies or something.
Like Hannibal Lecter, like
Yeah.
that kind of muzzle.
He wants to eat with some fava bean.
I mean, it does bear resemblance to the Winter Soldier MCU mask before he shoots the explodey disc. But I think it's meant to be in universe a muzzle.
They also showed some preview pages too as well.
Yeah, you've got the Xenomorph meeting the X-Men.
So
Not literally, it's just the Maker.
yeah, with his big old weird ass head. You also got the to bring it back to Spider-Man. You got Steve Skaros doing an alternate cover.
That's a very big stretch to make a Spidey connection. Oh yeah, here's an artist who worked on Spider-Man. Congratulations, who hasn't?
Well, he worked on Amazing Spider-Man in the 90s, and then he came. Yeah, his most recent, like he left Amazing Spider-Man notably to go work on the Matrix. So
yep. Walter, if you pay attention real quick, Adam, did you form another? What the hell?
I don't know. Adam cloned himself.
So he makes a point that the pattern is off. That's the Winter Soldier star with like Wolverine design elements in there.
Yeah, that's why.
No, Walter,
Go back up to the top one. Please.
I did not drink the Fireball bottle. It's just down there because I was tired of you talking about it.
That was probably a good idea.
Yeah,
I would say so. Yeah.
So that's the Winter Soldier. They did announce some Marvel Legends, or a Marvel Legend at Comic-Con as well.
Oh, there's nothing in here to mix with the booze because I'm going to need it for Marvel Legends chat.
It's just one announcement, okay? It is available right now on Hasbro Pulse. Hang on, I've got the Legends series. So they are doing similar to Dragon Man that just ended. They announced, thanks to X-Men 97, the Sentinel, which we kind of got a preview of the day before. So $174.99. This is going to be up for pre-order till around Thanksgiving, and then it will be shut down. So it is not quite as big as the old HasLab that was based off of the books of Powers of X, Books of 10 Sentinel. This one is based obviously on the X-Men 97 series and the comic book as well. So not quite as tall. He's about 6 inches shorter, but he's still a little over 2 feet tall. So we'll be shipping in October of next year, excuse me. So it comes with some accessories. Doesn't have the light up features that the HasLab had. So you got the swappable faceplate, swappable headpiece, and swappable chest plate. The blast effects are new, but they've been used for the smaller Marvel Legends as well. And 86 points of articulation. The hands are fully articulated, so you can have him be grabbing a figure like so. Renders look really good, but they had it on display at New York Comic-Con after the announcement. So there will be more announcements next week. I think the 10/27 announcements, and then I think MCM Comic-Con London is going to have more announcements too. That's where they announced actually this year's retro carded Spider-Man series. So we'll see if there's going to be some Spidey announcements there. So that is the only Hasbro Marvel Legends news from New York Comic-Con.
I just wanted to point out real quick that LeBron James this afternoon asked, "Hey, anyone know where I can get some comics?" And like every editor and publisher on the planet jumped to glaze him, like the second he posted.
And James Gunn.
Yeah, well, he's a movie man, so that like celebrities flock together. But it's like imagine like a bunch of like pencil pusher editor wonks like going up to glaze King James, and Nick Lowe friend of the show, Nicolo, sent him,
Is he?
"Hey, I'm the editor of the Spider-Man office. I'd be happy to send you some things." Both a reminder that billionaires receive more free things than anybody on the planet, and I think it'd be really funny if LeBron James posted on Twitter, "Boy, this Paul character sure is mysterious and interesting. I wonder what happens to him." Imagine the LeBron stands like going to read Wells's ASM run and going, "OMG, this Paul is amazing. What do you think, King James?"
So
And then they outnumber ASM readers like the normal ones.
Yeah. So there was questions in the chat. 90s Kane, when is that figure dropping? So it's been rumored, but we don't know when. I would assume possibly announced this week at MCM Comic-Con if they're going to follow the same pattern that they had last year, where they announced at least half of the wave and then they did another half the wave later on. We'll see what happens if they follow that pattern that they established from last year. So we'll report on it obviously on the next episode. We lost Ash.
Walter points out James Gunn asked him to play Steel. Oh, because he played when I'm thinking of Shaq.
Yes.
The Shaq.
Yeah, he was joking about Shaq.
That's the joke, yeah.
Okay.
So
Father Sauce, I'm not putting that one in on the.
Yeah.
I'm good.
That's obvious bait.
Yeah, no politics from either side, please.
The only reason we talk about politics on this show is because Ultimate Spider-Man is ultimately a political comic. Less so than Ultimates.
Yeah,
but
Ultimates
it does have some political elements, like more in the corporate thriller element.
So where did Ashley go?
She said, "Be right back" in the private chat.
Oh, did she? Oh,
read.
Okay. I didn't see it, asshole. Jesus. What was? I mean, yeah, we'll talk about the ASM stuff on next week's show because that'll be.
I don't know if we're gonna get too much into the drama about it because a little question kerfuffle occurred, but 2
years in a row at New York Comic Con. No more Q&As starting next year.
If they don't shake up editorial by then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably for the best, honestly.
Something that was announced on Voices from the Eyrie that just dropped today is that our good friend Greg Weisman is working on issue 15 as we speak. So 14.
I guess that first issue must have sold like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Good for him, I guess.
Can we make? Do I want to give Walter the power of a mod?
No.
That's kind of terrifying. What the crap? Anyway, so Radiac, welcome, buddy. Welcome to the show. So I will say this: I'm interested. The Ultimate stuff. I think the only person that reads anything outside of Ultimate Spider-Man is me and Mr. Neil. Checking with,
which is depressing because there's a lot of really good stuff out there.
The Ultimates is a good book. Excuse me,
let me go grab my funny book so I can talk about it.
I got the Here in Manhattan trade for Gargoyles a few days ago, so glad to hear the comics are still checking out. Well, yeah, there's going to be a lot more Gargoyles stuff coming up in the next few months. Some stuff that I can't even talk about yet. So, yeah, there's some more. Don't trust my biggest super check ever. Yeah, well, welcome back, Ash. We will talk. Okay, so Radiac, we were talking about that before you jumped on. We're going to talk about that in detail on the next episode because it's ASM related. This is Ultimates. We're keeping,
we talk about things where they're relevant.
Yeah, we try to keep church and state. Although Marvel Legends is kind of across platforms because it's me. So
yeah. This is my stack. This is my stack over the past 2 weeks. I'm kind of impressed with myself how full and succulent it is.
Yeah, and Ashley, you're wearing is that lip gloss or that lip stuff you were?
Yeah,
Lip-
but
lip
I'm
stuff.
also like not happy because they changed the formula and I can tell right now. So not great.
No, they went back to formula like Green Goblin and Spider-Man.
Damn, everything has to go
Yeah.
back to.
They
movie
need to go
lines.
back to the first one because that was the good one. Whatever this is, we hate it. We hate it.
That's great.
First world problems hashtag.
I know.
It's not a first world problem if it affects your on-stage appearance.
Well, there's nothing that can make me look better.
And I just don't give a shit. So it's fine.
About Zach or your appearance?
About my appearance, yeah, that's
both. A little bit of both.
yeah. So, okay, let's. We want to get into the issue.
Sure.
Yes.
I sound so disappointed.
No.
Why did I don't know why I sounded disappointed, but say
The
like
best one.
This is the main cover. This is the other alternate cover, which I don't like as much.
No, I don't like that one either.
And then this is the.
who drew that one?
This one was drawn by I had it Harvey, last name Harvey.
He has bombs.
Yes, he has pumpkin bombs.
You know
Yeah.
what would make that cover even better? If that was actually Jonah and Ben on it instead of
Yo, like Jonah
Spider-Man.
doing some sick Spider-Man shit.
yes, instead of Goblin and Spider-Man. That's what I would like to see. I would have bought that, framed it, would have been
Okay.
up on my wall.
Ben Gall did the cover art for the cartoony one, and then this one is Ben Harvey was the one that did it. So
I'm yawning a lot today. If I fall asleep, I apologize. It's not because of you, it's because of me.
Yep.
Because I work 4 jobs basically.
I like the double homage for this cover, but it also drives me mad because it doesn't happen at all.
It
I
almost
mean,
happens.
it happens in
figuratively.
spirit.
Yeah, it's like figurative, sort of, like a little bit, almost.
Doesn't go all the way though, but it gets to that point where they're like,
It's-
oh,
it's
he's gonna
not
do
all
it.
the way.
Shut up, Walter.
What did he say? I
The
didn't
issue
even
how many Cowboys barely wait. The
How
issue
the-
how
How
Cowboys barely won
barely
this
won
past
this
week.
past week when they didn't play.
Holy shit! Did you see Finkman? If Zach wants to improve his appearance, he needs to rotary buff his head.
Damn.
Jesus Christ!
With friends like these, who needs enemies?
Me, I need
There's not
enemies. They
enough
keep me
booze
sharp.
in this Coke.
You want what's left in the fireball?
Oh no, I had a bad experience with Fireball. I'm good.
It's never stopped me before.
Nope.
It should have.
It should have.
I smell it and I get
Yeah,
Vietnam.
I kept reading ASM after Wells started writing, but we don't let bad experiences stop us on this show.
That's true. I haven't gotten drunk on a show in a while.
All right. Anyways, it's time to talk about BrokeBack Bugle.
My favorite.
Ultimate. Yeah, I was about to say this is Ashley's like bread and butter right here.
It is. It is.
Ultimate Spider-Man number 10, written by Jonathan Hickman and art by guest artist David Messina. If you recall, he was the guest artist on issues 4 and 5. And we'll get more into him later. So it's October, and in front of the very obviously not Starbucks, Uncle Ben is picking up his boyfriend at his brownstone to go to Long Island for a weekend of gay golfing. I don't know why I put it like.
You're just adding the more gay the gay subtext in here.
Listen, it's almost not subtext.
It's true.
So they go to Long Island, nondescript Long Island, just in the middle of Long Island. Don't ask questions about where it is. And they meet Wesley, and they go, "Hey, here's some information on Starkstane and why it keeps getting shuffled around. What's up with that?" And Wesley is like, "Well, the paperwork seems to say that someone wants to remove themselves from Starkstane's ownership, but I don't know more than that. Hey, look at these security guys. Get the fuck out of here. Back at the paper 1 week. 1 week later. Jesus Christ! I'm sorry.
What happened?
I'm tired. Ben, anyways, back at the paper, Ben and Jonah are connecting the dots. They found out that Stark Stain is like every 30 days sold to a new shell company and rotated around. And they find the common thread of all these shell companies is that they're owned by Oscorp. So they go to Gwen with a secretary who looks very much like Maxine from Batman Beyond. Deep cut, I guess. Except that everyone talks about Batman Beyond, so it's not a deep cut. Anyways, Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss Gwen is here to talk to the Bugle Boys, and they interrogate her on the connections to Stark Stain and everything. And she's like, "I want my fucking money back. Shut up. Get out of here. You're not helping." Parker residents. MJ's like, "Listen, I can fix this for you, maybe, but you don't want to piss off Gwen right now because she's like your main source of funding."
Yeah.
And they're all like, "MJ, journalism is sacred. It's like religion for me and Jonah. We're publishing the story whether we like it or not in like a week." And Peter's sleeve like changes shape like 5 times in this single 3-page sequence. Like, look at it. It changes shape like 5 different times.
Yeah.
2 days later, Harry shows up at the paper and basically interrogates Jonah and Ben on what they know. Jonah and Ben have made like various bets about whether or not Harry's the Goblin and Gwen's the Goblin, or how long it would take them to come and interrogate them on what they know. Harry draws the gauntlets. That means Ben won the bet that Harry was the Goblin. Oh, geez. My heart feels like it's gonna like give out at any second.
Please don't
that
die
anxiety?
on stream.
Please
I'm not gonna
don't.
die. I feel tired. Like I'm rushing through it so that I don't pass out.
So you can take a break for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you need me to take over, or are you okay?
No, I got it. Harry, Jonah and Ben basically convince Harry, "Don't worry, we're on your side. We're going to try and expose the makers who be." And Harry says, "Hey, funny you should say that. Here's a USB drive on the maker." And then Harry is like, "Listen, this stuff is kind of sensitive. I wouldn't put my name anywhere near this." And Uncle Ben says, "Oh yeah? Well, watch this. I'm going to put my first name in front of my wife's maiden name. No one will know what that means." It's Ben Riley, motherfucker, as they publish the article in the dead of night. Oh yeah, those succulent midnight vibes with the New York lighting really doesn't change my mind about this being like a gay love story.
And I love it with all of my heart. Like, this by far my favorite.
Radiac says, "I don't know what Gwen was expecting."
Yeah.
Radiac says, "I don't know what Gwen was expecting out of sponsoring financing the paper, to be honest. Even if MJ did great marketing speak to have Gwen buy into it, it's odd to expect any different from the two guys out of From the Bugle for not wanting to cave to the Kingpin's demands." To be honest, I don't think that she thought that they would catch on to it, because like this was supposed to be like a completely separate thread of a larger tapestry that I don't think Gwen was prepared to have them latch onto and follow as closely as they did.
Yeah.
So then when they show like, "Hey, we've done our work, you're connected to this," Gwen's like, "What the fuck? You aren't even supposed to be doing this. You're supposed to be doing like Spider-Man stuff."
But I think she wasn't thinking of that. I think she was looking at it as them trying to unmask like who Goblin and all of that stuff was.
And the connection they have to Stark Stain.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think that's why she was so defensive, because of Harry and stuff like that. But outside of that, I don't see any other reason for her to have been so defensive other than she was worried that the secret was going to come out.
And that like, and I think she knows that Jonah and Ben are like so in have such high standards of integrity that they would run the story even if it was compromising to Harry or Gwen.
Right.
And I think that's why she got like freaked out. Was like, shut the fuck up, give my money back.
Yeah, and give me my fucking money.
All right, let's do grades real quick so that we can just yap about the book and say where we liked it.
I'll go first.
Well, I mean, why don't we just go around and talk about why we liked it? We always do grades last.
No, let's just do grades. Let's just
Doesn't
get the
really
grades out of
matter.
the way.
Okay, let's just do grades. Let's do grades. All right, what is Ashley's grade?
The highest of A's. So like A, like plus, like just run that through. This is epitome for me of anything involving this series so far.
Okay. Adam, your grade.
I'll give it an A.
It's a flat A.
Yeah.
Neil, your grade.
I'm gonna give it an A as well.
Just a flat A.
Yeah, flat A.
We love flat A's.
Better stop it.
I'll give it an A plus. I really enjoyed this issue,
For the Ben
and not
Riley
because
reference.
of the Ben Riley thing. Although Hobby was like, he couldn't be on here, but he goes, the first thing I thought of was you every time I see the name. And
Hey, Ashley, did you see this?
What?
Ashley gives it a yowie.
I do.
Okay.
You know.
So I want to get my biggest criticism out of the way for this. David Messina's art in the first two issues he did with the dinner issue and Harry and the Harry Spotlight. It was good. It wasn't. It's against like Chichetto. It's obviously like a step down, but it was serviceable. It felt like a good diet Chichetto. This felt rough. Especially with the colors. I don't think Matt Wilson's a good colorist for Messina. If you look at his sketches he did for Comic-Con, he did like a bunch of covers with like Copic markers and stuff, and those look way better. And I think it's because Wilson's colors really bring out the geometry of his line art, if that makes sense.
yeah, I get a lot of Dotson vibes with this artwork. I think I said it the first time that they came forward.
I get the vibes more in the layout, not necessarily in the layouts, but more in like how characters will just have their mouths open, like they're screaming, and then like
Yeah,
just saying a regular sentence.
and some of the shading, like on the faces and stuff like that too, I think is what kind of gives me the.
Well, that's more down to the colorist.
Yeah.
Well, not in this stuff like when you have Harry's face and shadow and stuff. That's like Messina's doing that. That's part of the inks right there.
Yeah.
Like the stark black of it all.
I know people are kind of like, well, this is going slow.
I mean, this is a bit of a detour, to be fair.
To be fair, it's a necessary detour because like we haven't really gotten a lot of focus on these characters. They've been kind of in the background. Now this is their big
Solo outlet. Their big solo outing. It's Ben and Jonah's Excellent Adventure.
or their duo outing together. Sorry.
I love every part of it. I don't care. Like the coloring could be shit. It could have looked like a 3-year-old like drew on that. I don't care. My boys are together through this entire thing, and they are like the dynamic duo. Like
Ashley's
running
subtitle for
around.
this issue was "Gay Sex on Long Island."
It is. It is.
Which is just Long Island.
Love them. Just
Oh my god.
through and through. I don't care. This is why I love it so much, because I just love watching the two of them like interact. So I know you guys are like nitpicking that stuff, and yeah, I didn't like some of it, but just overall anything with the two of them, I just genuinely, it's so like authentic and cute that I'm just like, I love them together. Like he had coffee from Starbucks waiting for Jonah to get his ass the fuck downstairs or wherever he came from so they could go on their little adventure to the country club golf course, and like even like down to like them betting on stuff back and forth. Like I just think it's so stinking cute.
Have y'all ever watched
the bit where Jonah gives Ben $5 or like money on when on Harry being the Goblin, and he's like, "Yeah, I bet it was your wife. What can I say? I'm not a sexist." Like
Yeah,
that's like really good. That's really good, like classic Jonah. Where he fucking hates Spider-Man, but he'll go to bat for mutant rights any day.
Or he'll fall
you
in love with,
remember the Bash? You
or
remember the
he'll fall
Bastion
in love with,
story?
yeah, or he'll fall in love with that woman that made Spider Slayers that one time.
Yeah. I think one of my flaws art wise is that everything's a 3x3, like a 9-panel grid, and it doesn't the flow of the story doesn't demand the 3x3, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like it works for it fine.
I think that's done to make it easier to adapt into
Like a
the
show
guided view on Unlimited.
I didn't think about that.
Because I feel like, I don't know, like, because this issue is just basically people talking, and I feel like all these 9-panel grids are making that interesting enough. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not totally sure if I would honestly want Kaketo to do this issue, because it's just people standing around talking.
I guess to me the Chicheto talking heads would be more dynamic. I guess if that makes sense.
But I mean, there are some. I mean, at least I would say there aren't a lot of reused panels here. There's like slightly reused panels, but there's something a little different in each one for the like 95% of them. Yeah.
I think it needs it for the story. It's like them going through everything to get to the end of what they're trying to put out.
Yeah, it does. I think all these panels, it keeps it all moving.
Right.
Would you like to hear a weird theory of mine? This is Hickman's attempt at recreating the original Ultimates pacing. In that, like, Brian Hitch had like that very cinematic, like, black bars aspect ratio to his line art for the original Ultimates that he did with Millar. And this is like Hickman's, I don't want to say his attempt at aping it because that sounds like a negative, but this is like the attempt to like kind of create those cinematic parallels, because the maker has interfered with its dimensions so much that he's brought over that kind of meta aspect from the old Ultimate universe into the new one. I might be overthinking that, and it might just be that Messina likes his black backgrounds because it helps flow his panels, because he relies a lot on inks. But I think that that's an interesting interpretation of why the framing around the 9-panel grids is always black.
Yeah. And again, because they always do, like, one of the alternate covers they always do is like for Unlimited, which is always like a take on this cover, on the main cover. So that's kind of why I wonder if it's a choice,
right,
because of that too.
Yeah, because I feel like you look at all these too, and like they would fit on a phone pretty well.
Phone or tablet.
It read well on mine. So.
This is a dumb question. What did Messina do before this title?
I think he did one of the Rocketeer books at IDW. Because there've been a couple of those recently.
Isn't Rocketeer owned by, or the license owned by, Dark Horse?
What's the first? I think IDW does it, I believe. I think.
Okay.
Hang on, I'll Google search.
Hang on, I'm looking at him right now. Oh, he's Italian.
Italian.
I don't know what it sounded like. I sounded like I had such contempt for him being Italian. I was having a conversation with my friends on a different Discord server that like the reason Marvel hires so many Italian artists because they want that Stuart Immonen house style, and they don't have to pay foreign artists healthcare and benefits and stuff. So that's the reason they hire so many Italians.
Well, yeah, and South Americans.
He also did.
I hate to say it, but like that. They're outsourcing their stuff, so they, like you said, Neil,
don't have to pay their artists what they deserve. But I'm saying that because a lot of these artists all go to the same art school in Italy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my connecting thread. Is that they source their talent from that art school to develop around that Immonen house style.
Looks like he did Trial of Magneto.
No fucking way. He did the Star Trek Countdown comic for IDW before the first Abrams movie. I have that on my shelf. No fucking way. I've had his art for like 12 years, and I didn't know it.
He did.
Hang on, I'm gonna go see if I still have it.
Looks like he did some fill-in issues of Uncanny X-Men, a bunch of Star Wars work for Marvel. Did a fill-in issue for X Factor. Did the Han Solo and Chewbacca series with Mark Guggenheim writing. Yeah, so a lot of Star Wars work. So he's from the Star Wars office. And then obviously he did 4 or 5, and apparently he's going to do next issue as well. So with the Black Cat.
Let's see how that goes. I'm coming off this high.
Well, it's going to, yeah. That's such an, okay. I'm going to pull I'm going to give you the cover for issue 11, like the full size. It is an odd angle of how she's posed, like, to me, but
Okay, I don't have it. I guess I just lost it at some point, but I think it's insane that like I've had his art for forever and it looks completely different from
like that don't look right.
She's doing the Psylocke pose.
She is, and like the gluteus max. That's not the way legs bend.
A lot of people.
Just
A
say
lot of
her
people
butt.
A lot of people draw women like that.
Yeah, and then she got big hair. Like, Ashley, you gonna get a wig like that?
If I leave my hair curly, it would look like that.
That's
So.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. So we'll see more next issue on that one.
And we'll see him probably do action there, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie did a great variant.
I mean, can't we just see what this Black Cat? It's gonna be Felicia. I mean,
A Felicia, not our Felicia.
I think he just means like, you know, how she's going to like
like factor into the story and stuff.
Yeah, like how she's going to factor into the story with her dad being out of commission, and you know what's the status on her dad, and
Oh, hey, my dad got thrown off a roof by a laser. Time to do a
vengeance.
crime.
Vengeance.
Rip.
Vengeance is mine.
Why do you keep doing the Sean Connery voice?
I don't know.
That's like asking, why is the sky blue? Why is the grass green?
Oh, I thought you said, why is this guy blue?
Yeah,
this
asking him
guy.
why he's doing a voice, it just like naturally reading.
He was trying to do like a Peter Cullen voice, and he somehow defaulted to Sean Connery.
I know.
Shame.
Autobots,
Shame.
cut off this man's balls.
Whoa! That
escalated.
That escalated extremely quickly, and I am not comfortable right now.
Would this be a podcast if you were comfortable, though? Just lull you into a false sense of security for a minute, and then Walter leaves a voicemail.
Hey, Zach, I'm gonna find you and where you live. That's what he sounds like. That's what he sounds like the last time he did a voicemail. I'm the Joker, baby.
Do you want to know how I got these scars? Anyway, so
oh no, I don't think there's going to be any sexual tension between the middle-aged man and the barely legal teenager.
No, zero.
I think that a lot of us who were making jokes about the Peter affair arc on Twitter, we're just doing it because we thought it was funny, not because we had any actual conviction in it.
I mean, good old John Byrne.
Oh, well,
Matty Franklin.
What
Peter
were we
Byrne.
going for there?
I remember getting that comic back in the day.
So John Byrne
has a proclivity towards girls who are attracted to very middle-aged men.
Yeah. And anytime he would, that's how he introduced, like when he introduced Kitty Pryde, she was dating Colossus, who was like 6 years older than her.
And then Pete Wisdom.
Then the retcon that's been retconned was Susan was living
She was like 12 when she met Reed for the first time.
12
right?
or 13, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
John, check his PC burn.
oh man.
Oh my god. Damn, I didn't even know she was a teen. I figured her dad being a silver fox, she'll be older in turn.
Well, we don't really know how old she is, technically.
We're gonna find.
I'm making the assumption that she is over 18, like 19 or something.
Yeah. Still wet behind the ears in terms of like her youth.
Neil, the less you hit at anything in Superman Batman Generations, the better.
That's another. That's another. I understood that reference.
Is
I
that
love
the
how
one
this,
with
I love how
the-
this entire show is just pivoted into being a John Byrne shitting segment.
Well, I mean, his Spider-Man run was bad. It deserves to be mocked widely.
Hi, it's me. I'm self-inserting as Peter. Here's my underage love interest. Was Maddie underage?
Yes,
No, like,
Maddie was
really?
underage, and
Wasn't she like
and
15 or something?
she was like 15. And
Oh.
it was literally the issue after they blew freaking a airplane up with MJ in it. So
That's a hell of a way of moving on, Peter.
yeah.
Well, I don't think he wanted to move on. She just kind of
No,
threw
she freaking attacked him.
She forced the issue on him.
Yeah, she shoved her tongue down his throat.
I mean, he was convinced that Mary Jane was still alive for
Yeah.
many issues.
I mean,
after.
to be fair, he was not incorrect. So
Well, and they didn't want to kill her off anyway. That was editorial. But
it all comes together with editorial.
it's all editorial's fault. Anything bad that ever happens is Spider-Man. Just blame editorial. That's
Or
probably-
John Byrne.
more or less.
So, yeah, I really like the issue. To get to my kind of my overall thoughts a little bit too. I really like the issue in terms of like yes, obviously the joke about Ben Reilly. That's kind of a dumb thing. It's a dumb callback. I get it. I like them using a pen name. Ben Reilly's a little obvious, but
I was about to say, like, oh yeah, my first name and my dead wife's maiden name. No one will tie that together. That's like the most obvious pen name I've ever seen.
Obviously that's a wink and a nod to the fans, and I get it. That's less story, more wink nod. But I do like that Ben and Jonah are treated with intelligence, and it kind of gives me to go into the 90s show for a second. There was the episode where Jonah, puts on the fedora hat and the overcoat, and he's like, "I'm gonna go back out on the streets and Jigsaw Jameson and
Magic Malone.
yeah, where he's just gonna go out and be a
God.
be a classic.
It's like my little one where he's like trying to unmask.
Hit the streets, Spider-Man.
That's this version. That's on
Yeah.
my necklace. But
So,
I still
like,
love him. I don't care.
he's just kind of being that that grizzled journalist, and I like this version of Jonah because it gives him an ability to show his humanity more, and I do like the relationship, the friendship between Ben and Jonah, where anybody that's that's ever watched somebody lose a spouse, like an older person, if they don't have a good friend group,
Time for me to move in.
but I do love the Odd Couple vibe, with Ben and Jonah, and it does kind of, I don't get as much joy obviously as Ashley does, because I don't think anybody gets as much joy as Ashley does, but I think that we've talked about at times, even in our group chat, we've talked about old Saint Gwendolyn the First. Praise may she be. That Ben is kind of similarly deified in that realm, right? Where Uncle Ben's that wise old sage, and he's never been anything bad. And in the first Ultimate Spider-Man volume, 25 years ago, they made Ben a character, and here they're making Ben a character and not a plot device, and I really like that. Granted, I've always had a proclivity for Aunt May being dead, but that's just because when I started reading that she was dead, and then they brought her back for stupid reasons. So and they don't dwell on May all that much. I do like
just
the little
a split second in this issue, though. They did bring her up, which I did like too, because I feel like he was talking and appealing to Harry, like, because he's like, oh, he killed my parents, and he's like, oh, he killed my wife. So like,
yeah. And what I like about when he says that is that you still see he wears the wedding ring.
Yeah,
because he's still,
it happened. Okay, it happened like a year ago.
Less than a year ago.
So of course he wants to go after Kingpin, and now having Harry on board and not having his name attached to it, I think it's also moving that storyline along too. So this issue did need to happen, because now they're putting it out into the world, like who's, controlling the Kingpin. And Harry's now giving them over the information he had, because he knew he was not going to ever put anything out himself about it.
Yeah.
So Ben and Jonah had to be those like gritty, we don't give a fuck, like, oh, this is our new, genius protege that's like, come on, and they're writing this story and, whatever, when really it's just them, like wanting to expose all this, like, garbage stuff that's been happening in their city.
Yeah, and that goes into the core of what Jonah always was about, and how the characters are not the same characters, but spiritually there is an element to them that is the same. And I think that for all the bombastic BS that Jonah can do, because there's a very fine line between the character and caricature of Jonah. Here it's very much character, and I appreciate that a lot. Adam, what do you got in terms of your thoughts?
I mean, I just like I think I like the character moments between the two. I like there's small little character development things, and you learn a lot about the two characters just in their interactions, going to the country club and how they work together and everything. And I appreciate that. It's one of those things, like, I could see a lot of people saying this is a boring issue, but
they have no soul.
Yeah, but it is told in an interesting way, that it's like, even though there's no Spider-Man in the book, it's still interesting to read about them just doing their investigative journalism thing and trying to solve this mystery of, like, okay, like, who's the big bad guy? And I do like that there's kind of some pushback between Harry and Gwen that I feel, well, honestly, I mean, right now it's settled, but I just feel like that's gonna happen down the line with all that.
I appreciate
that. Well, because actually, this is something I want to say. I was thinking about this, like, probably for another episode. I've been thinking about this lately, about just Harry as a character in this. Like, it's interesting how Peter is throwing his lot in with Harry and they're all buddy, but it's like, these guys aren't friends. Not like, I mean, I guess you could argue they weren't great friends in 616, but I feel like there was more of
there was an attempt.
Yeah. But like, these guys, they're just like, oh, we have
a very loose common enemy.
Yeah. And that's it. So I really think it's going to be interesting when because it's been hinted at already when they team up and stuff. They have very different views on this. I wanted to point that out. I think it's interesting that Hickman is showing Harry and Gwen are like
very willing to burn bridges.
Yeah.
And like the divisions are at multiple vectors, like Peter's unwillingness to like kill or follow the kill or be killed mentality. Gwen not wanting their company exposed and stuff like that. They're willing to burn bridges easily. They rush into. They're quick to anger.
Well, I knew that from the first time they met. I felt it that Gwen was going to be like that. So
a very cutthroat girl boss businesswoman who I think are very reactionary just because of the world they have been thrust into, and they're not able to cope with it. And also that includes the stuff that happened in issue 8, where Iron Lad basically told Harry, "You're not important."
Yeah.
That's kind of fueled their metaphoric, not necessarily Napoleon complex, but
it's a defining moment. That's we're gonna point back to that in the issues to come and be like, well, this seed was planted back in issue 8. That one little kernel will go a long way towards informing Harry's character, I think. That acorn will one day grow into a mighty oak.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, waiting for that mighty oak
to fall over on Harry.
Yeah,
I do agree with
a little bit.
I do agree.
I can't stand him now. Like at this point, I don't know why. I'm like,
you don't like Harry anymore.
I don't like.
He was threatening the bromance. That's why
it was. I kind of didn't like it. He was, running his mouth a little bit.
Harry, imagine the optics, threatening 2 old gay men who were just enjoying their day together.
Exactly. Like, how dare you interrupt them while they were having like a good time hanging out together? I'm just saying, I don't like that he raised his voice to them. So now he's on the Bojangles list. Sorry, Harry, get fucked. Like,
well, I'm also wondering if Ben and Jonah's conviction is going to come to bite them in the ass, because like they were totally willing. Like, if Gwen's going to cut bridges with us, sure, we're going to run the story. Fuck it.
But I mean, that's the reason why they kind of started this anyways, is they wanted to be able to
express
write what
their
they
convictions,
wanted, instead of it being censored basically because of Kingpin and all that stuff with the Bugle. So they are very true to whatever they feel is right, and
it's true to their pre-established motivations for leaving. So
it is. So I like that they did continue with that, because they could have easily just rolled over when she said she was pulling funding. I mean, for God's sakes, they're such cute little old men. They don't even understand what like going viral means, and that they're popular online because they were used to being in an actual print. Like, so they're like, is that good? We don't know. Like, are people actually like reading? Is
that going to give me a computer virus?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is?
Exactly. But that's like them. So I just think that, them going into this, and now they're like in the digital, like online sector of things, and being true to what they wanted to start this for. I love it.
That's why they're asking, hey, Peter, can we borrow your wife for a minute?
Yeah, pretty much. And didn't he say he was going to just take some pictures and like be unemployed or whatever when they were like, yes. Oh, we're going to get that funding pulled? He's like, that's fine. It's cool. Unemployment. That's cool.
Radiac says, going off Adam, this issue really put in perspective why I think the Spider-Man bits aren't working. Ben and JJ are the highlight because they do many things while on panel. While with Harry and Peter, they only see them in a single moment on issues for the most part, which is a big hurdle of 1 issue equals 1 month. Too much to cover when we are only informed of stuff off panel.
Yes. That's why I think it is a good point, which I kind of agree with, because I think back and I almost feel like the Spider-Man stuff was a bit stronger when we were just focusing on Peter. We get Harry in the mix, and now it's like, it's a team up thing. That's why I'm kind of.
This is what I meant, and I wish Javi was here, because I don't not to say I want to smack Javi in the mouth, but when we were talking about with the monthly when we were talking about the monthly format, I wasn't talking about like the publishing format. I was talking about like how each issue is like a snapshot of a month, and how that's not Hickman trying to have his cake and eat it too, in terms of like having one and dones while also doing the serialized storytelling. Like Ultimates handles better because it handles like one specific concept or character. Like this last issue just focused on Cap and the new Hawkeye, but then it previously focused on Doom, She-Hulk, Cap on his own, catching up with history, and then Iron Lad. While Hickman's trying to carry these plot threads across like a month with these characters who haven't, like, the implication I get is that like Hickman says things have happened off panel, but to us, the reader, nothing has really changed. Like these characters are just static for like an entire month, and then the story just picks up and like nothing's changed.
Yeah, I agree.
It is telling and not showing.
Yeah, and Radiac kind of brings that point up.
Sometimes I like telling and not showing, but
it wouldn't be as offensive to me if we didn't have a better case study of how to do the monthly, like the snapshot of a month in a different book.
I still do like, though, that every issue is its own story. Yeah.
Yeah. There
like
is
that. I just do wish there was a little more Spidey stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and connective tissue, yeah.
But I also think this is when you look at the overall line, right? On ASM, it's all Spidey, no Pete.
That's true.
Is it even all Spidey, no Pete? Because it feels like that's what I was talking about on our issue 7 review, where I said it feels paradoxically like everything's happening, but nothing is happening.
Yeah.
It's like the comic book equivalent of a Seinfeld episode, and not in a good way.
I like Seinfeld.
But like I say that in that Seinfeld was a show about nothing. So things were happening, but nothing was happening. ASM is in a similar rut, where things are technically happening on the page, but it feels like nothing's being said. There's nothing explored with these characters anymore. They're just a static brand.
USM is the opposite, because there is a lot of character depth, a lot of plot depth, and it is written well, I would say. It's just like
it doesn't feel rushed and crammed into it, and they're skipping over things, and you're jumping around, and you know
the connective tissue is probably the weakest part. Like the connective tissue from month to month has been the weakest part of this book for me.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I want to see
what they've been up to.
More.
I don't. Do you guys read? Have you guys been reading Williamson's Superman?
No.
There's it did a similar thing that issue 9 did, where like MJ, Jonah, and Ben are like looking over their newspaper feed, and it's like all the Spider-Man stuff that they've been up to. Williamson does a very similar thing where like he shows like things that have happened in the time since we last met them. Like they go, oh, hey, remember that mission you went with the Atoms? Remember that mission you went to in like Atlantis? And like they'll show like a snapshot of that individual moment and how it ties into the present. And I wish Ultimate would do that more, if that makes sense.
I see.
I feel like I'm like exhaling more than I'm inhaling. I don't like that.
You're good.
I think they should just make an Ultimate Ben and Jonah series, and I would be the only person that wants that. And I would
Ultimate Uncle Ben.
Yes, please.
Yo, what if Uncle Ben had been bitten by the spider? He goes, "Hey, Peter, what's this?" Ow!
There was a what if.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
I think I'm gonna have to start producing a song in as a homage to Agatha all along. It was
that new series is
Who's been editing everything? It was editorial all along.
Who's been editing up everything? Okay, I've been watching Agatha.
If you're a Wiccan fan, you're gonna want to kill yourself by the end.
It's not my vibe.
Wiccan.
It's just not. I haven't been into it. It's been very slow.
This Wiccan.
It was very quiet in the chat until for you, Walter.
Well, no, it wasn't quiet. We had Radiac and Matt and Exiles.
Yeah, we had Matt. Hi, Matt. It's been a while since we've seen Mr. Matt on the show.
Am I breathing through my nose a lot? It feels like I'm breathing through my nose a lot. I don't like that.
If you were, I didn't even notice. So
okay.
Your mic's far enough away. We're not going to hear you breathing through your nose.
Heavy breathing.
I just want to make sure because I'm using my nose to compensate. And what the fuck are you doing?
Don't be a mouth breather like Zach is right now. Breathe through your nose. You're not a basement dwelling mouth breather.
What are you trying to say, Ashley?
I didn't say it was you. I'm saying in general.
No. Zach's not a basement dweller. He's a living room dweller.
Yeah,
he's the living room dweller.
I've been in his apartment. I know what's up.
You have your own. You're not living in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, I'm living.
I live in my mom's house, which I guess is not a basement. So
well, we're not going to talk about Uncle Has Been.
Okay.
What? Is
the
dig, Bankman?
No. It's the Uncle Ben from the original Spider-Verse event that like gave up when Peter and Aunt May died, and then the world got nuked somehow.
No, it wasn't. It was by Otto Octavius.
Oh, he did like the nuclear generator thing, and then it blew up somehow.
Yeah. And
so he was bad.
No, he basically hid in a bunker.
Yeah, I don't remember what happened there.
No, I had to read it fairly recently for Make My Mayday, so that's exactly how it happened.
So now I have to like find out about it because it feels very vague, and none of you will tell me about it. But
no, so okay, in this Spider-Verse event,
he was a character that showed up for how many issues? Like a dozen, maybe max. Like
Oh, and then he died, didn't he?
Yes, he.
That was really funny.
No, didn't you say that, Neil? In like one of the first like podcasts we did for those was like, can't wait for Uncle Ben to die, and like they're gonna have that arc or whatever.
No, it was Richard.
Oh,
Richard.
okay.
Yeah, he was. It was his son, who we got to see him and Peter playing chess, which I thought was really sweet.
I think it's interesting that Peter isn't really. I don't want to say he's not smart, but he's not like oh, I can jam out with Reed Richards and Hank Pym and Tony Stark because I'm just so gosh darn smart. I can work at Horizon Labs. Like this Peter's like clearly like intelligent, but his son is like the real brains. And I'm wondering either if that son's smarts is going to factor into him helping Peter, or if Peter's going to try and be smart so that he can like he's gonna learn off of his son.
That's actually an interesting concept.
The other one just stands around looking cute, the daughter.
And making costumes and stuff. Like, look at this one. To match my dad. We'll make some merch.
My main issue is that Peter doesn't really do much. He's kind of just there to go, haha, I collect unemployment for this site.
Yeah.
And I get duped by like villains still. Like
I got duped into quitting my reliable job so I could go work for my fucking uncle.
I mean, it's fine. They're going viral. It's okay. He doesn't know how the money's coming in. Ben and them have no idea where the money's coming from, but it's coming.
Well, no, Peter knows where the money's coming from.
No, I'm saying Ben and them about going viral. Like, they have no idea, but they know at least some finances are coming in, so.
Oh, boy. All right.
I kind of do wish there was more impact on, like, Peter's very reliable job getting cut. Or him quitting. That's one of my main problems, that we don't see the impact of a lot of these things because it's those snapshots, and like we don't get the linearity of cause and effect.
Right.
We just get told things happen, and then we don't actually see what's happening.
I was trying to think of like what does that remind me of, and I remembered it's like at the end of Homecoming and then Far From Home. We don't know, like, the identity reveal, and then it's like, oh, we don't see anything from in between that. It's like, oh, I guess it's cool,
It just cuts to Aunt May being like, hey, sport, let's go to the charity thing. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's exactly word for word how that happened.
Imagine Marissa Tomei going, "Hey, buddy, let's go to the charity thing." Fuck you.
Word for word. I'm telling you, I
think that's Happy's
exactly
here too.
Oh yeah, here's Jon Favreau because he had a contract to run out.
What are we doing? Final thoughts. See, what do you guys have to say? I know Walter has something to say. He's been quiet. Probably something about the Cowboys.
Yeah, no, these are great.
Oh,
These are all
Exile
great
was saying the thought bubbles being missing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I missed that too. Like, I really, again, the focus was on Peter, and then it kind of became the Peter Harry team up, and we just don't have as much insight into this Peter Parker anymore, I feel.
You'll be interesting ideas. I talked about from the transition from issue 7 to 8, how it would have been cool if like the beginning of the issue was like July 31st, and then like the end of the issue cuts to August. Like it's like midnight, and then it cuts to August as Iron Lad comes back and says, "Hey, bitch, I'm back." Excuse me.
That what Radiac said about Black Cat shows how Peter interacts by himself with villains. I mean, he already has, so hopefully he's learned something since when he met.
Well, he better have. He better have. It's been like 7 months.
Because he's interacted by himself with the Shocker, so and that was twice, and he got wrecked.
He sees Black Cat and goes, "Oh no, this one's hot. I'm going to be duped again, aren't I?"
Yeah.
Since we got Ultimate Ben Reilly, how will Marvel ruin this version too?
Yeah, I laughed at that. That made me laugh. Yeah, sorry, I had myself on mute so that way, because I was uploading the only voicemail we have tonight.
Oh no. Is it Walter?
Yeah, it's Walter.
What did the caption say? We need the Cliff Notes.
Okay. Hello, this is your agent of chaos, Walter, or as an electric call me Joker. I don't think I sound like the goddamn Joker at all, but no cussing on the voicemail. Well, hi, Neil. Hi, Zach. Hi, Adam. Hello, Ashley. You have 4 voicemail.
Are you going to read it or are you going to play it?
Yeah, I'm going to play it.
I just wanted what it gave as like the clip, because normally it gives him like 5 words, and it's usually that he's losing his hair or something, or shave his head.
All right. So let me
color your beard.
Let me play the voicemail.
Okay.
Hello. Your agent Kate. Walter. Or we like to call him Joe.
Turn it up a bit.
Oh shit, I was muted. Why are we all muted?
I'm still going to do it.
When you mute yourself, we can't hear it, Zach.
Son of a bitch. Okay.
Now you just call my
bad.
Zach.
Hang on. I'm just going to replay it from the beginning. So that, because I didn't realize that was screwing it up.
This is your agent of chaos, Walter. Or as Neil likes to call me, Joker. I don't think I sound like the goddamn Joker at all, but no cussing.
Hello, Batman!
Well, hi, Neil. Hi, Zach. Hi, Adam. Hello, Ashley. You have 4 voicemails, so here you go. Neil, I'm still going to make jokes about Fireball, but just ask Zach about me beating a dead horse until it's non-existent. Don't you remember the jackpot jokes? Now you just call my attention to it. Zach, how about those Cowboys? Anyway. Hi, Adam. You know, you got to put something in the background there. I mean, I need to pick on you for something, but you don't give me anything. Ashley. How you doing, girl? And by the way, well, just a quick voicemail. Nothing special. And this probably will be the only one tonight. So don't freak out, Zach. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
Once again, thank you, Walter, as always.
Okay, so I just want to point out real quick.
Muted one. Oh, okay.
That Walter isn't just the Joker. He sounds like the Joker who works at a sex hotline. Hello, this is your agent of chaos, Walter, or as the electric call me, Joker.
Hello, everyone. My name is your agent of chaos.
I wonder what his per minute is. I'm just wondering. Some people be really into that on the internet.
Let me do my Mark Hamill Joker sex line visit. Hello, beautiful. Turn your head and cough. I have a surprise for you.
Oh God.
Well, what do we learn?
I have a pretty good Mark Hamill Joker impression.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah,
it's not as good as my Kermit voice, but you know, every voice takes practice. The Obama voice is getting better. Let me be clear. Ultimate Spider-Man gets an A out of me.
So A's all around for
Obama.
You're welcome.
WCN. Just wait, Neil. Just wait. You have now. Oh God, there's no telling what you've done now.
He was gonna do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, if we don't got any.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you for the voicemail. As always, we really do appreciate it. If you want to leave a voicemail, you can always leave a voicemail at 818-925-6631. If you want to leave us a voicemail, we will play it on the next episode. Or if you want to leave it during the episode, we'll play it live at the end of the episode, like we always do with Walter. Okay, so I did want to bring up and mention that today is officially the 30th anniversary of when Gargoyles debuted on syndication. So it's the 30th anniversary of Gargoyles today, and in celebration of that, right now over on Spideydude.com, you can get the audio edition that's also available on your favorite podcasting app, like Spotify, Google, Apple Podcasts as well. So all that is available there. The video version is, of course, available over at our Patreon page. So any other final thoughts before I wrap this episode up, guys? No. Okay.
Oh wait, was I supposed to say something? Yeah, okay.
I was giving you guys a chance. So go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Spideydude Network. I got to thank our patrons as always as we get to the end of the episode. Allison, Cindy, Ed, Georgia, Greg, Janelle, Jessica, Joyce, Catherine, Kale, Laura Howard, Lumpmoose, Master Draman, Phoenician, RJ, Vanessa, and Vicky. Thank you guys for your support. As well as Sarah, Tara, and Walter, Scott McGraw, and Vinkman. Thank you guys for your support. You also see up on the screen the Friendly Neighborhood tier, which will be on the audio-only edition. If you have not gone to the Patreon page and not checked out Books of X, you get me and Neil talking about the Krakoan era of X-Men. We got to get together for another episode, Neil.
Yeah,
Also, check out the latest Make My Mayday. We have another episode coming out soon. If you have not checked out our other fine interviews, we are going to try to get at least 2 more done before the end of the year. Juan Ferreira, Greg Weisman, as well as JMD Mateus. Check out the Slot Symposium. As I mentioned, Voices from the Eyrie has returned, and we'll be having a couple episodes before the end of the year, and then they're going to take a holiday break. We got the Amazing Spider-Man Classics, Spideydude, Clone Saga Chronicles, and Spectacular Radio, as well as the Sal Buscema Era podcast, which is going to be covering pretty soon the death of Harry Osborn. So you want to tune in for that. So as always, go find us on our social medias at Spideydude Radio on Twitter/X, at Spideydude Network on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, as well as at Spideydude Official on Instagram. And then we have the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Spideydude Radio Network. And of course, as I mentioned, that voicemail line is 818-925-6631. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching us live or you're watching us after the fact, we really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time here on the Spideydude Experience.